Welcome to the Dirt Court Jesters podcast, your home for dirt track racing across the country and right here in Southwest Ohio. This is Josh, joined by EJ. It's episode 90, Waynesfield, Torn Up Rides, and National Champion. Hope you guys are ready to get dirty. This week in dirt racing history, we're going back to August 21st of 2004 at the Great American Dirt Track. This was a 3/8 mile track in Kansas that ran from 2001 to 2013. And on that night, the All-Star Circuit of Champions paid a visit. Shane Stewart would get the win, Chad Kemenall in second, and Brooke Tatnall would round out the podium.
Let me talk to you.
This week's talking points. We're going to start with the 5th annual SummerFast for the Super Dirt Car Series Big Block Modifieds. It's 4 straight nights at 4 different racetracks. They'll be earning points throughout the week to determine this year's SummerFast champion. SummerFast will kick off at Waynesfield Speedway on Sunday, August 16th for the Hall of Fame 100. Brewerton Speedway on Monday, August 17th. Land of Legends Raceway on Tuesday, August 18th. Before crowning a SummerFast champion at Utica Rome Speedway on Wednesday, August 19th. Moving on, the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Not a fan of pulling the race from Waynesfield. It doesn't feel like we're going to see a lot of racing there at this point. I've heard they can't get back from local businesses, which is one of their major issues. What do you know about that, Josh?
Yeah, EJ, I think you've been to Waynesfield. I'm not sure. We've talked about this. Maybe you haven't, but...
I haven't been to Waynesfield.
Okay, I've been there quite a few times, not too far from where I grew up, and it's a super cool track. I hate it. You know, we've talked about it before. I know we've talked about Waynesfield before and that they aren't getting a whole lot of racing in. I think they ran there twice last year. If I'm right, maybe it was once. It's hard to remember at this point. They were supposed to have, I think, 3 races this year, and it ended up being 1 because the show that was supposed to be in October there was pulled. I don't know the ins and outs of all this. Obviously, Rich Farmer has been successful elsewhere, and with all he's doing, if there's not local support and you don't have the sponsors to help, it's hard to open the place up. You need the financial backing in order to do that. So, I don't know if there's other entities that aren't local that might be able to come in and help. I hate to see that place turn into a cornfield again, which I know was the rumor before Farmer took over. Things cost money, and you can't justify running a business if you're going to open the place up and just bleed out a bunch of money. So I'm hoping they can get things figured out there at Waynesfield because it's a really cool track, and I would like to see some more regular events run there.
Yep, me too. Welcome to the high limit room for Chase Briscoe. He acquired Brent Marks Racing and plans to keep the Myerstown Missile as a driver while taking Chase Briscoe Racing banner full-time with Interstate High Limit Racing.
Yeah, big news. There's been talks of maybe even other guys. I don't know. I know somebody said Bowman. I don't know if that's something he's considering, but it sounds like these charters have drawn interest from other people. So, getting on FS1 and nationally televising the races is certainly going to help. I mean, it's kind of the hot ticket right now with high limit. So there's folks jumping on board, and you just hope it continues to prop up all of dirt track racing.
Yeah, you had mentioned Alex Bowman. I thought I had seen something that, isn't this his last year racing Cup full time or what?
I thought it was 27. I thought he announced that 27 would be, if I remember correctly. So next year would be, and obviously we know he's had a hand in dirt racing. it's interesting to see this, the NASCAR world coming over into the dirt sprint car world. And I don't think this is going to be the last big purchase of a charter. It's kind of interesting as how it's going on and how it's going to continue to change as, every year they plan to pump more money into this. So what are the value of these charters? Brent Marks Racing is turning over everything. This isn't the first charter that has been sold this year, but this is one that comes with all of it. So I would imagine it was a pretty decent penny, and Brent Marks signed on for 5 years as the driver of the team. So it's going to be interesting. Brent Marks, obviously a hell of a driver, and now he's got that weight off his back and he can really go out and kind of focus on what he does best. Positive for dirt track racing, and it's going to help Brent Marks out a ton. So you already thought he was fast. You better watch out.
Yeah, and he's been, taking his operation on alone for the most part, even crew chiefing wise. So yeah, now he can focus on driving more, I'm sure. And this is right on the midst of, losing that big time sponsor that was with him for years. So this is definitely good to see for Brent Marks. Moving on, Carson Macedo from August 7th. The morning thought 20 laps on a pre-lim night at the 360 Nationals just isn't enough. With an invert of 8, you've got to give the guys starting deeper a realistic chance to get to the front. I think you should make it a 30-lap minimum. What's your thoughts on this, Josh?
I mean, how do you disagree with that? I don't know. I mean, if Carson Macedo, the guy that wheels the car, is saying this, I got to say there's probably some solid support behind it. I don't disagree with him. I think that's accurate. The Knoxville 360 Nationals, Knoxville Nationals, man, what a bunch, 10 days of just all over the board. I mean, cinema, right? There's, especially when we get to Knoxville Nationals championship night. I mean, just everything that happened over the course of those 10 days and the way the last day ended, it was wild. I mean, I can't imagine being there, it's like the ups and downs, and we'll get into this later, but I'm sure people weren't thrilled. And I know a lot of people weren't thrilled with the change in the way they were going to run the event. And then obviously, you had a bunch of delays because of the rain, and then it was raining so much. You're like, well, are we even going to get this in? And then they get cars on track. Well, then because of the delay, NASCAR's wrapping up, and now there's talk about Larson coming and all. I mean, it was just, I was trying to keep up with it when I had time. It was just all over the place. Moving to Ironman 55. I have a lot of thoughts about this to pump up the field for the 360 Nationals. If you move the Ironman 55, I mean, do you get 130 cars? Probably. I don't know. I feel a couple different ways about this. I understand guys showing up, right? It's the week before the 410 Nationals, the granddaddy of them all. But there's something like, if you're running the full-time national 410 car, I don't know how I feel about, and there's guys that run both, like, I don't know that's a fair argument, but I want the 360 Nationals to kind of be the 360 Nationals. The 360 guys, that's what they run. They run it all the time. That's all they run. Give them their big week there at Knoxville before the 410 guys come in. Where's the line at in this? I don't know. Just a thought I had is like, okay, so we're putting more 410 national guys into the 360 Nationals. Running with guys that run 360s. Most of them, that's all they run is 360s all year. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Them 410 guys, they just want the laps around Knoxville, right, to win the granddaddy of them all. And that's why you see the majority of them skip out on the Ironman 55 and go run the 360 Nationals for that reason. I know it's a big difference in the 360s and 410s running there, but I mean, any laps is good laps around Knoxville because it's one of the toughest tracks to tame.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. I think the point of it is that I just don't like I'm not a fan of the 410 guys that's all they run, and then they maybe occasionally hop in a 360 for certain reasons that they're jumping in and getting in the money there at Knoxville for the 360 Nationals. I kind of wish the two would be separate, I guess is what I'm saying. Now, I understand it. I get it, and some of those guys, they run both throughout the year, but there's 360 guys that just run 360s. So,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know where the line is. You got me. Moving to the North-South 100, it delivers a hell of a weekend with great racing, but a lot of crashes and upside down race cars. Drake Troutman Racing posted this image. I mean, this was the start of the feature for the main event, the North-South 100, but it wasn't the first time the late models got upside down. I mean, they tore up a lot of stuff. Chris Risch on X would say, I've seen demo derbies with less torn up cars than the North-South. I mean, it was wild. I don't, both ends of the spectrum. You had that chaos where the cars were all tore up or cars were upside down or I can't even remember who was in the wreck. I think they were going into 3 and they got together and one car got upside down and somehow the other car ended up on top of the upside down car. I think that was on one of the pre-lim nights, if I remember correctly. But the racing was awesome. Like it had everything. I've been wanting to get to Florence. I think I'm going to get to Florence for some non-wing 410 sprint car racing at the end of this month. But the North-South 100 is something I've been like, I really kind of want to get down there for that. Man, I've been nice to get down there for it this year, but and I know it wasn't your pick, but it was who you wanted to see.
Yep.
EJ with the Josh Rice pick. I mean, again, we're talking cinema here. You've got everything. Yeah, you've got all these crashes. You've got the great racing. You've got the hometown guy winning a huge event, the North-South 100. I mean, it had it all, EJ.
Yeah, that was an awesome victory for Josh Rice. That's why I wanted to see that, and just the amount of people that surrounded Josh Rice there in Victory Lane, and just they drug that interview out long, and the longer he went, the more emotional he got, and that's what I wanted to see, man. That's what my heart was set on seeing, and yeah, it was definitely a wild night to say the least, but you couldn't have scripted any better to end any better way.
Yeah. Yeah, there's really been, we've been off. Well, I guess we took off last week, so we've been off for almost 2 weeks, and there's just been a ton, like this point in the season, just a ton from both sides, the late models and the sprint cars. And we're moving on to the front row challenge where Larson slides Timms with 2 to go. There were people all over the place on this, as there always is. I don't know. I've seen a lot worse, and I didn't hate it. I know Timms wasn't a fan of it at the time, and then he drew it back. Could Larson could he have waited with the amount of speed he was carrying? I think he would have got him either on the straight or in the next turn. But I'm not Kyle Larson. Never have been, never will be. Obviously, we know the guy can drive. Timms can drive, Larson slides him, and then Timms kind of breaks up and looks like he's going to try to cut underneath him, and that's how the two kind of connected. So, I don't know. It was a slider, and Timms made a decision. It happened. I didn't hate it. It bent his wing. He still finished second, I think. So, I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. What's your thoughts, EJ?
Yeah, I think he might have fell back to third there. I think Dave might have got by him, but I mean, Kyle Larson's got a day job that pays his bills. So this stuff, and he's just doing this out of the love of the sport. He's not showing up for any other reason. like you said, I've seen way worse sliders than that. And it appeared like Timms was left with a choice. It wasn't like, he took his nose off or anything. He was left with a choice, and the choice he made, it didn't work out for him. So, yeah, I am not a fan of seeing Kyle Larson, show up and win all this money on dirt, to be honest with you. But it's Kyle Larson, so what are you going to do about it? But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Ryan Timms, after the whole little thing in Victory Lane where they was back and forth or whatever, he come out the next day and apologized and whatnot. And, it was just a racing deal, and, those things happen.
Yep. Anthony Macri, the Concrete King, injured once again during the Capitini Classic. I don't know if you saw this wreck. I'm guessing you did, because I'm thinking a lot of people did. Holy crap.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the worst wreck of the week, but man, that was a rough wreck, and I'm glad it wasn't any worse. He suffered a broken clavicle and a bruised lung. Just can't catch a break. He's hurt a couple times last year. Now he's been hurt again a couple times this season, and it's going to take time to heal. And by the time that happens, I don't know. He won the King's Royal. I know you still got some big stuff going on before the season wraps up, but maybe Anthony just needs to call it a 26 and get ready for 27.
Yeah, and if stuff keeps going the way it's been going, because like you said, he can't catch a break. I mean, these injuries that he's been dealing with, they're not light injuries. So I mean, even calling it a year, I mean, it might be in the back of his mind. He's still kind of young, so he's got a long life ahead of him too. Moving on, Knoxville Nationals prelim night number 1. Sheldon with an awesome drive. Let's go, Sheldon Hodenshield. He got the win, but the bigger story was Tim's fuel tank issue. The team was working hard to get him out on the track, no doubt, but from trying to put screws in the tank plate to adding fuel, then falling off a quad while fueling and spilling fuel everywhere. Thankfully, nobody was hurt there. And then not to mention, Tim's pulled off because fuel was splashing all over him. So what a mess that was. The series of mandated fire suppression, this cannot be acceptable. When I first saw what was going on, I was thinking, if you're not ready, you should just park it. And they got a good bit of time on that to get everything together, Josh, and they still just couldn't get it rolling.
Yeah. I know from what I read, what, a 30-gallon tank, if I'm not mistaken, and they had it filled up. So I don't know. The bladder sits inside the shell, and then the screws go in through the fuel plate, which goes through the shell, which goes into the bladder and all that stuff. And obviously, if it's weighted down, and I understand why they had the issue. I don't like it. Some people might shit on this, and they might say you're being soft or whatever, but I completely disagree with it. We're all, we want to talk about safety, then we don't want to talk about safety and all this nonsense. Like, no, we're not doing that crap. And they're filling this up on the track. You got multiple guys riding on the quad, on the car. Some tracks only let you have one guy on a quad. So I don't know what was going on. Not to mention, the World of Outlaws were in charge this night. So, I don't know. If you ask me, somebody needs to be in control of that situation. I'm surprised nothing came out. I suspect something will. I don't know. You can't fuel the car while it's moving. It's crazy. And I think don't misunderstand me. The effort by the team, amazing. They knew it was on the line. They're trying to get the job done. I can appreciate the hard work. But at what cost? I mean, the dude fueling the car, if that sparks, you don't have a fire protection suit on. You're getting burned. And probably pretty damn bad. Not to mention, Tim's is running around there with the bladder that's not hooked up right, so fuel's splashing all over the place. What if he catches on fire? He's in the car. I mean, he's got fire protection suit on, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, and I can't understand why we would be okay with that. The hard work, the effort, trying to get on the track, trying to get a win, get it, 100%. But when safety is put into play, I can't back that up. So I don't know, if anything's ever going to come of it. I mean, it seems like so far we haven't heard anything. Maybe we'll hear something, but I figured if it was going to be an issue and the Outlaws didn't like it, they would have said something pretty quick. And we haven't heard anything. In my opinion, if you're doing that crap, your car's not ready, it's unsafe. Sorry, your night's over. So, I don't know. That's my rant. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's a big deal with the safety thing. I mean, I seen the guy on the he was on the tail tank while the car was getting pushed, still putting fuel in it. So it's no wonder the situation turned out the way it did. And then after Tim's got out there, I mean, he pulled off because of that situation. It wasn't a good look. And yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen nothing further about that. Weather affects the Knoxville Nationals and the Kings Royal, but it gave us Larson watch as Gordy Gundaker compared it to the Santa Tracker. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we'll obviously talk about this a little bit more, but weather played a role in in my opinion, the two biggest crown jewels of sprint car racing this season, and you're going to have years like that, but Gordy Gundaker referred to it as Santa Tracker, and I think I saw at one point like 12,000 people were following the flight tracker of Kyle Larson. So it was cool. And I made a post last night, like Dirt Vision was waiting at the airport for Larson to show up, and then he was going to get a police escort. Like, this is so like backstage pro wrestling for me, and I love it. I thought it was cool, and obviously a ton of people were certainly very interested in it. It was all over the place with social media. So weather played a role, but you know what? They got both in. Both were successful events, and it gave us something to talk about.
Yeah, it was different this year. Definitely on Saturday. It was a long day. But it's something we'll deal with in the sport. Connor with Always Race Day spoke with 10 times champion Donnie Schatz, who said that changing the event format in the middle of the Knoxville Nationals sends a bad signal. He's not the only one that wasn't happy about it. JJ Hickle also wasn't a fan. I heard JJ said something in an interview. It was like, well, now it's like, we're just packing the track for the A main guys. And so, a lot of people wasn't happy about the format change in there. And even Gio said after his wreck, he was saying the same thing, which was a very nasty wreck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what can you do? We haven't seen a rain out at the Knoxville Nationals since 2014. So it's been 12 years now that we haven't had to worry about any weather at all. So I mean, it's been a long time, and yeah, I mean, I don't blame the drivers for being upset about the format change, but I mean, what else can you do to get in the whole show?
Yeah, and that takes me to a thought is, I feel like back then it wasn't uncommon. It didn't happen all the time, but it wasn't going to be uncommon if you would run into, maybe it was even more like early 2000s, but where you would have rain where it would push an event to a Sunday. I feel like in the past that would happen every so often. And I think the reason we're not seeing that as much now is because of all the kickback that the tracks were getting. Like, they've sold the tickets already. They're going to run the show regardless, but a lot of people make this their vacation, and Sundays they've got to be heading home because Mondays it's back to the grind. And so, when you're pushing the race back to Sunday, a bunch of people can't make it, but they've already paid for tickets. And I think the tracks are trying to do the right thing, and they're trying to get the event in with the people there because they paid their hard-earned money to be there. And so that's why we're seeing a lot of these, like, we're going to get it in some way. We got to figure out the way to get it in, and it might be super early Sunday morning and you've raced all of Saturday night. They're going to get it in, and I think they're trying to get it in because they appreciate the fact that people are showing up and they're spending their money, and they obviously don't want to hear the other side of people complaining because they had to leave before the race was ran because they pushed it back to Sunday. So, I don't disagree with what these guys said as far as changing the format kind of in the middle. Like, but what are you going to do? How else do you get that in? It still ended up being, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning here when they wrapped it up, which isn't hateful. It would probably have been another hour and a half, 2 hours if they would have kept the same format. There's so much pomp and circumstance with the Nationals, and there's so much that goes on after the event that I know they want to always keep that going, and it's cool, the driver toast and all that stuff. So I get it. I get both sides of it. I don't know that there's a good answer. We talk about Hard Knocks. Gio Selzi gets over a right rear and gets into the wall and flips right in front of Brenham Crouch, who had absolutely nowhere to go coming out of 2. The right side of the top of the frame of Crouch's car broke apart. Crouch suffered a broken right arm and was admitted for neurological observation. Watching that replay, dude, that crash could kill him.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just, and these cars are flying. They're just badass machines that rip. There's not much to them, right? There's the cockpit and the motor and the wheels and the fuel tank, and that's it. Like, safety is always something that we've always talked about. A lot of people out there know a lot more about this than I will ever pretend to know. But man, this could have been really bad. So I don't, the outlaw bar that got put in, and there was talk a couple weeks ago, I think, when there was a pretty bad crash, and I know I saw Flea Ruzick comment on maybe trying to reinforce the uppers, or I don't know what the solution is. I certainly will not have an answer, but things like this are going to happen. You can't control chaos, and I mean, that's what these guys are trying to do. They're trying to control chaos when they're out there driving, and sometimes bad things happen. I don't know. I hope we look at this close and figure out what to do to try to make it more reinforced. You're only going to be able to be so safe. I'm not naive in that. This is never going to be 100% safe sport. It's not. But man, it's they had a couple really big wrecks there at Knoxville. They had some big wrecks there with the North-South 100, and hopefully we're taking this and digesting it and doing our best to try and make sure moving forward we're as safe as we can possibly be. Chili's Grill and Bar will serve as the title sponsor for the Sprint Car SmackDown at Indiana's Kokomo Speedway on August 27th, 28th, 29th of 2026. 3 nights of USAC AMSOIL National Sprint Car Racing will culminate with a $30,000 to win finale. Chili's loves the dirt racing. What are your thoughts about Chili's and dirt racing?
Yeah, they're definitely going full time in there with Giovanni Selzi. They're partnered there with Carson Hocevar as well. it's one of these big corporate sponsors. You know, I'm not sure if this is a good thing in our sport or a bad thing. Because we're seeing more sponsors, you know, coming down from NASCAR into dirt racing, and so yeah, I don't know. Definitely, it's good to see Chili's on the car with Gio, and you know, he just picked off his first. This wind's really bad, buddy. I don't know. Might have to give me a sec here. Yeah, I didn't have nothing to say about that. I'm just hoping there's not like something crazy going on. That's all I had to say about that. So
You have a cow flying by your window right now?
Well, no, not a cow, but like the tree looked like the top of the tree looked like it was about to touch the ground. So I'm like, whoa.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Calm down now. So sorry about that.
All right. Yeah, I don't know. You know, Chili's getting involved, and obviously they're on Selzi's car, right? They're gonna fork out some money for the USAC Gainesville National Sprint cars. NOS, they're involved, right? I don't think it's a bad thing. You need sponsorship to make things go. I just hope it's a trickle-down effect. If these big sponsors are going to come in and jump on these big national rides, and I hope the sponsors that were there for the national rides go down to some of the regional guys, go down to some of the local guys. Like, everybody needs sponsorship and everybody needs money to make it to the track. Big or small, doesn't matter. So that would be my hope, is like, yeah, bring the big stuff. Bring the big sponsors. Come on in. But make sure everybody else is getting their share as well.
I drank a beer. I drank another beer. 3 beers. 4 beers. Oh, no.
This week's race recap. We go to Thursday, August 6th at Florence Speedway in Kentucky for the North-South 100 Night 1. Feature 1, seeing Brandon Shepard with the win, Garrett Alberson in second, Josh Rice in third. Feature 2, Mike Marlar with the win, Brandon Overton in second, and Hudson O'Neill in third. Knoxville Raceway in Iowa for the 360 Nationals, night number 1. The 360 sprint seen Giovanni Selzi with the win. Aaron Wright's won second, and Kyle Larson in third. Nevada Speedway in Missouri for the U.S. MTS Modifieds. Brandon Davis with the win, Cade Dillard in second, and Gary Christian in third. Plymouth Speedway in Indiana for the Pavement Midgets. Kyle O'Gara with the win, Michael Lewis in second, and Chase Locke rounded out the podium.
Moving to Friday, August 7th, Bloomington Speedway in Indiana for the Kevin Huntley Memorial non-wing 410s. Ricky Lewis with the win, Jacob Boxell in second, and Jaden Rogers in third. Race Saver 305 sprint cars, Jordan Welch with the win, Carson Dillon from 12th to 2nd, and Dean Barnes rounds out the podium in the All-Star TQ Midgets. Joey Paxson gets the win, Jaden Gorman in second, and Matthew Hendrick rounds out your podium. Florence Speedway in Kentucky, North-South 100, night number 2. Feature number 1, Brandon Overton with the win, Mike Marlar in second, and Hudson O'Neill in third. Feature number 2, Josh Rice gets the win, Bobby Pierce in second, and Zach Dahm in third. I'm going to touch on something before I get too far. My picks sucked. I didn't get anything right. I didn't even get close. Aaron Reitzel didn't make the Knoxville Nationals. Bobby Pierce didn't win. Davenport finished second. I think you and I were online talking about who was going to be our winners there. And I mean, he got second place, so that's not terrible, but God, I was way off. And
yeah, but you've been winning them all because you was picking him all the other ones. I mean, he can't win them all, man. He's got to finish second.
I don't know. He can win quite a few of them, though.
Yeah, he can. Jeez.
But even not, I mean, that wreck just, if he would have got through that wreck at the North-South 100, he'd have had a shot. But, you know, it is what it is. Racing. Everybody got caught up in it. It happens. So be it. Aaron Reitzel didn't even make the A main in Knoxville Nationals. Yeah.
That's a surprise, man. It is
a surprise, but I think maybe, I don't know. You don't have that weather. Maybe it's a little bit different, but you get the best of the best. You got the best of the best there.
Yep.
Like, it is what it is, you know? Anyways, let's get back on track here. I-55 in Missouri, night before the Ironman, World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, Chris Windham gets his first World of Outlaw Sprint Car win. Congratulations to him. Buddy Kofoid in second and Kelby Watt in third. Extreme Outlaw Midgets, Joe Worth gets the win. Cale Drake in second and Cullen Hutchinson in third. I-96 Speedway in Michigan for ALMIS late models. Rusty Schlink with the win. GLSS Sprints, Zane DeVault gets the win. In the modifieds, Mark Anderson gets the win. In street stocks, Gary Vandermark grabs the checkered flag.
Moving to Knoxville Raceway in Iowa for the 360 Nationals, night number 2. The 360 sprint seen Tyler Courtney with the win, Brady Bacon in second and Ryan Timms in third. Lima Land Motorsports Park in Lima, Ohio, the modifieds, Dylan Woodling was your winner. Drew Carlson in second and Dalton Lane in third. Thunderstocks, Jordan Conover with the win, Tony Anderson in second, and Trace Settles in third. And the dirt trucks, Chris Hicks with the win, Tony Anderson from 14th to finish second, and Phil Hicks rounded out the podium.
Hey. Tony Anderson got the shirt on. By the way, the thunder in the background is a nice touch there, EJ. Thanks for adding that to the podcast.
I didn't mean to, man. It's been worrying me.
Moving to Saturday, August 8th, Butler Speedway in Michigan, ALMIS late models, Rusty Schlink once again. He gets the win. Modifieds, Robbie Henderson with the win. Street stocks, Reese Novak with the win, and 4 cylinders, Corey Gum with the win. Fremont Speedway in Fremont, Ohio, AFCS. In the 410s, Craig Mintz gets the win. Nate Dussel in second and DJ Foose in third. Nate Dussel, holy cow, he comes from 16th to second in that one. AFCS 305s, Brian Sabato gets a win. DJ Foose in second and Steve Rando in third. In the dirt trucks, Dave Golombowski gets the win. Sean Valeni in second and Dustin Keegan in third. Florence Speedway for the North-South 100 and Lucas Oil late models, Josh Rice gets the win. Congratulations, Josh Rice with the win and $75,000. Jonathan Davenport in second and Luke Morey from 19th to third in that one. Goods Raceway in Deerfield, Ohio. Junior Sprints, Joey Zambodi, he gets the win. Junior Sportsman, Brock Van Boozen gets the win. 270 Micros, Lonnie McConaughey gets the win. In the Mod Lights, Logan Lewis with the win. Modified Dwarfs, Tyler Turner with the win. And Classic Dwarfs, Jake Toto gets the victory.
I-55 in Missouri for the Ironman 55. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars seeing Logan Schuhart with the win. Buddy Kofoid from 18th to finish second, and Carson Macedo round out the podium. Extreme Outlaw Midgets, Carter Sarf with the win. Cameron Key in second, Cullen Hutchinson in third. Iowa Speedway in Iowa with the USAC Silver Crowns, CJ Leary with the win. Mario Klauser in second, and Justin Grant in third. Knoxville Raceway in Iowa for the 360 Nationals finale. The 360 sprint scene, Ryan Timms with the win, Aaron Reitzel in second, and Tyler Courtney in third. Lucas Oil Speedway in Missouri for the 17th annual Show Me Shootout. The late models, Robbie Ewing with the win, B-Mods, John Sheets. Stock cars, Rodney Schweizer with the win, and modifieds, Brandon Davis was victorious.
Moved to Mount Pillar Motor Speedway in Indiana for the Terry Hall Memorial in the modifieds. Jordan Weaver gets the win. Bub Roberts in second and Dylan Woodling in third. And the non-wing 410s, Zach Pretorius with the win. Jacob Boxell in second and Brandon Maddox in third. I want to talk about Jacob Boxell just real quick. You know, he's been ripping off some wins. I think he's got 3 wins now this season, and that's back-to-back second place finishes for him. So they're really starting to figure it out there in that 410 and the 4 Kings Racing. And Jacob Boxell, I think he's going to be pretty tough. They're moving into 2027 in that non-wing 410.
Yep.
In the midgets, Luke Hall with the win, Bryce Massagale in second, and Matt Lux in third. The USAC Midwest Thunder midgets there at Mount Pillar, and hopefully we'll be having a new USAC Midwest Thunder Midget Monthly coming out soon, trying to get a couple guys on. There is 2 in contention for Rookie of the Year, so hoping to try to talk to those guys here pretty soon. Moving to Sonoya Raceway in Georgia, USCS, Jaden Bowling with the win. Silver Bullet Speedway in Michigan for GLSS, where Zane DeVault once again gets the victory.
Moving on to Sunday, August 9th, Knoxville Raceway in Iowa for the Capitini Classic in the 410s. Kyle Larson with the win, Rico Abreu in second, and David Gravel in third. Moving to Monday, August 10th at Southern Iowa Speedway for the 31st McKay Group Front Row Challenge. The 410 seeing Kyle Larson with the win from 11th, Corey Day in second, and Ryan Timms in third. The Race Saver Sprints, Trevor Service with the win, Gage Weldon in second, and Jake Greenwood in third. Going to Wednesday, August 12th, to Knoxville Raceway for the Knoxville Nationals qualifying night number 1. The 410 seen Sheldon Hodenshield with the win, James McFadden in second, and Jace Park round out the podium.
Moving to Thursday, August 13th, Knoxville Raceway in Iowa for the Knoxville Nationals. Pre-lim night number 2, Kyle Larson gets the win, Garrett Williamson in second, and Brent Marks in third. Friday, August 14th, Batesville Motor Speedway and the Topless 100 preliminary night. Lucas Oil late models on hand. Group A feature Max Blair with the win, Carson Ferguson in second, and Charlie Cole in third. Group B, their feature Ricky Thornton Jr. gets the win, Hudson O'Neill from 12th to second, and Jonathan Davenport in third. In the modifieds, Jeff Taylor gets the win, Spencer Hartwick in second, and Adam Maple rounds out the podium.
Moving on to Saturday, August 15th, Batesville Motor Speedway in Arkansas for the Topless 100. Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series seeing Dan Ebert pick up the win from 11th place, Dale McDowell in second, and Jonathan Davenport in third. The modified seeing Spencer Hartwick with the win, Jeff Taylor in second, and Brandon Smith in third. Knoxville Raceway in Iowa for Hard Knocks night, which was actually ran Saturday morning. The 410 seen 10-time Donnie Schatz with the win, Steven Snyder Jr. in second, and Carson McCarroll in third. And then the Knoxville Nationals finale, the 410's Kyle Larson with the win, Sheldon Hodenshield in second, and Casey Kane with a big third-place run.
Yeah, I don't know. There was a lot of stories going into that race. A lot of guys I would have been okay with seeing get the win. The way Larson left Richmond and the NASCAR race to get there, I was like, this is a cool story. If he wins, that would be cool. Sheldon obviously starting up front. He hasn't got a Knoxville Nationals yet. That would have been awesome to see him get the win. Casey Kane also starting there towards the front, man. It made me think about how we kept talking leading up to the Kings Royal, like, oh, maybe Casey Kane will get a run the Kings Royal. He's been good in that Macri car. And then Macri got back in the car and that didn't happen. But then he shows up to Knoxville and he really looks really solid. So I think I'm secretly a Casey Kane fan. There was just a lot of stories going to that feature that would have been cool to see a bunch of different guys win. In the end, guy that just wins, Kyle Larson gets it done. Moving on to racing to come Tuesday, August 18th, Marshalltown Speedway, Flow Racing Night in America. Wednesday, August 19th, Mason City Motor Speedway for Flow Racing Night in America. Thursday, August 20th, Santa Maria Speedway with High Limit.
Friday, August 21st, Attica will have the 410s, 305s, and late models. Circle City will have Northern All-Stars Late Model Series. Modifieds, Crown Vics, and Pure Stocks. Hilltop will be racing. I-96 will have the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Jackson County Speedway will have their season finale with the Ohio Valley Late Model Dirt Series plus 5 other divisions.
Lakeside Speedway is going to have Power Eye 410. Makokita is going to have the World of Outlaw Late Models and the Hawkeye 100 Night number 1 molar for the Ironman the Ike. $5,000 to win for the late models. Sports Mods, Compacts, Legend, and Crown Vics will also be on hand. Mount Pilgrim Motor Speedway, the Big Chiefs, night number 1. Modifieds, Hornets, Super Stocks, and Street Stocks. Ogilvy Raceway is going to have the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. Ohio Valley Speedway, night number 1 for the inaugural Lee Creek Classic weekend. Modified Sport Mods, front-wheel drive 4-cylinders, WRA mini wedges, and super late models.
Raceway 7 will have modifieds, mini stocks, Rush late models, Rush Sportsman modifieds, and Econo mods. Route 66 Motor Speedway will have the USMTS modifieds. Tazewell Speedway will have the Hunt the Front Dirt Series. Thunderbolt Speedway will have the High Limit. And Williams Grove will have the PA Posse 410s.
Saturday, August 22nd, Atomic in the Valvoline American Ironman Late Model Series, Boss Sprint Cars, and IMCA Race Saver 305s. Browntown Speedway is going to have Northern All-Star Super Late Models, $10,000 to win, plus the Northern All-Star Modifieds. Butler's going to have the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Cridersville Speedway is running regular classes, Juice Box, 35 and over Clone Master Series, and 450 Winged Outlaws. And Goods Raceway is running.
Illinois State Fairgrounds will have the USAC Silver Crown. Jackson Motorplex with the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. Lawrenceburg will have 410 non-wing sprints, modifieds, Crown Vic, Sport Compacts, Ohio Valley SCDRA, and the USAC Midwest Thunder Midgets. Lucas Oil Speedway will have the Power Eye 410s, and Mokokata will have the World of Outlaws late model Hawkeye 100.
Montpelier Motor Speedway is going to have the Big Chiefs finale with modifieds, Hornets, Super Stocks, and Street Stocks. Ohio Valley Speedway is going to have the 8th annual Keith Parker Memorial Modifieds, Sportman's, front-wheel drive 4-cylinders, WRA mini wedges, and super late models. Placerville Speedway with the Gold Rush Classic and High Limit. Portsmouth, the Valvoline Ironman Series, $7,500 to win. KDRA Series, first ever visit there to Portsmouth as well, and Sport Mods on hand. Port Royal is going to have the PA Posse 410 and Riverside International Speedway, King of the Ditch 2 with ASCS.
Route 66 will have the USMTS modified. Smoky Mountain Speedway will have Hunt the Front Super Dirt Series. Sharon Speedway will have the Open Wheel Clash with modifieds, Big Block mods, and Rush Sportsman modifieds. Wilmot Raceway with the Kenosha County Fair Sprint Spectacular with the IRA sprints. And then Sunday, August 23rd, Angel Park Speedway will have the IRA sprints, and Missouri State Fair will have the Power Eye 410s. And that wraps up this week's Racing to Come.
Yeah, episode 90 is in the books. It was a bunch going on there between the last episode and this one. North-South 100, the Knoxville 360 Nationals, the Knoxville Nationals. Ton going on, and now we've kind of gotten over that hump. Lyman Land did their last race of the season. We've got another place that's closing up after next week, and it's starting to get to that time of year where now we're getting into high school football starting up, so some tracks are going to start to shut up shop for the season. Any plans this weekend for you, EJ?
Well, unfortunately, no. Just working, Josh. Just working to be a better person and getting back to the racetrack as soon as I can get away from my real job.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm in the same boat as you. Looks like August 29th, Saturday, Florence Speedway. I should be there catching some non-wing 410 action. Looking forward to getting there. Never been there before, so not a bad drive either. And obviously, Florence put on a hell of a show with North-South 100, so kind of excited to get there and check out that facility. But until then, we'll be trying to keep up from home. So anything before we go, EJ?
Oh, like always, Josh, I always appreciate you having me, man. It's been a pretty interesting week this last week, and just still a lot to digest from what happened over the weekend. But like always, like I said, I appreciate you having me on, and for now and forever, let's go Sheldon Hod and Shield.
There you go. Everybody like, follow, share, subscribe. We're on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Spotify. Thanks for the support, and hope to see you guys at the track.